Much better. Dan here, DD Speed Shop. So, working on this rotten banana here. In the last couple videos, we brought her home, kind of went over it. We started doing a 2-door conversion, and I've actually been working on this thing. We just finished the video, but it's not quite bedtime, even though it is dark out. It's been kind of hot, so it's nice just to kind of work in the evening. Let's not cools off a little. So I don't think I'm going to get a whole lot done today. Tomorrow we'll start chopping in the doors here and carrying on with the conversion. But we got this thing and it wasn't running very good, and it actually has sprung a transmission leak. But there's a few things we want to go over real quick, just to kind of diagnose a few things. If I need parts, I can get them tomorrow after work. I know it was a couple of videos ago we put a radiator in it. The other one was junk. We have to hook up the steam port lines, so I did get a brass fitting for that, so we can get that taken care of. There was no OBD hooked up on this, so I ordered one of these off Amazon. I gotta look at the wiring, but I'm pretty sure there's one goes to OBD wire, 2 go to ground, 1 goes to, I think, constant 12. And I'm pretty sure this is like a, I was talking old half-ass there, it's C100 connector. I think this is the wire I'm going to use to go to the OBD. You can, I guess, get right in here as well, but this does, I think tack is in here as well, he was saying, and a few little things like that. So we'll see if we can snag something from there. This is definitely a little crudely put in. There's some little ratchet straps holding stuff together, but that's fine for now. Underneath, in a previous video, with the exhaust manifold, the nuts were all stripped, so I got a few metric nuts. We'll see if we can zinc some of those back on, put the donut back up, stop the exhaust leak. I did have to steal a battery of this to give to that stupid Biscayne when it went away, so we have to jumper cable it or do whatever we got to do. And I got a scan tool, so I'd like to fire it up and see if we can pinpoint the issue. It runs very rough, so maybe it's a sensor, maybe it's a coil, maybe it was the exhaust isn't happy with the O2. There's a bunch of things, and it's very weird. Instead of like diagnosing it like that, we're just going to go ahead and plug it in the computer. So that'll be pretty sweet. So let's get after that. We'll get this thing jacked up in the air. We'll get the exhaust hooked back up and see where we end. So I got the exhaust hooked up again, so that's good. Now I'll just show you. I did a bit of a rinky-dink thing here. I hooked up this OBD deal. There's 2 ground wires. One that's supposed to be constant 12, and then one that goes to the this little wire here. So I just used the jumper. And we got it all together. So good news, bad news. This motor, which was kind of a mystery, is a 9953. So that's cool. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, there was no, what did I do here? There was no codes. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is. It did throw some codes, but it's all stuff that's obviously irrelevant to this situation. I believe this thing has a factory harness and all that in it. Reading. Current. So, fuel level sensor irrelevant. Clutch, torque converter irrelevant. Pressure switch, solenoid irrelevant. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2. Oh, it's all transmission stuff, all irrelevant. So, in theory, it should run good. And I will say it does run better than it did, but it's not running great. Let's fire it up. So it actually sounds like it's okay here. When you kind of rev it, it has a like a bit of a miss. I don't know if the camera or the microphone will pick it up. So, I mean, whatever. We could have some issues. Now, I believe anyways, these things really like grounds, and based on none of this stuff, I don't think they're really hooked up. So maybe adding a ground wire, doing a few things like that could always help. Can't hurt as far as I'm concerned. So we can do a little mess around on that maybe. Maybe there's a couple of grounds I'm missing or something, but kind of get on that. Realistically, at that point, I mean, it's going to be maybe some injectors or something like that that are dirty and all. But I mean, it runs better than it did. So we're on the right track at the very least. So clearly that O2 is a problemo. It's late, I'm getting kind of tired. Oh, I had to steal the battery out of the Nomad too. Poor old car. I think what we'll probably do tonight is maybe just take the doors off real quick. And then that way tomorrow I can get started on fixing them up. That's the plan. I actually think I have a pair of jumbo cables in the Nomad. I might just try and ground the block to the frame or something like that and see if maybe that makes a difference, or follow where this ground goes, or do a few different things like that. Just make sure it's happy, because these motors like grounds. It is a new day. I jumped ahead a little. We took all the doors out and everything last night, took the post out and just kind of left it. Today I took this rear section and I just gutted it. I believe I showed that in the last video, so it's a lot of just kind of screwing around. I think what the next thing I'm going to do is actually pull all of the seats out. Obviously we got to get in there and weld in our inner structure and whatnot. I'm not a big fan of these. It did come with a set of buckets that are kind of like button tuck or tough, whatever it's called there. But I did buy a set of seats the other day on a whim. Story of my life. They're a set of low backs out of a Chevy, I believe. And they're not bad. They got a little tear there. Actually, that seat's good. The other one maybe just has like one little pleat. So they're kind of nice. Low backs, kind of period correct. I don't know if I'll put those in or not. Might save them for something else. I'm just not really a huge fan of high back buckets, but such is life. This carpet is, I don't even know what this is, but it's kind of junky. Let's see how bad the floors are. It's obviously had floor patches put in. I do have a black carpet that was in Danny's car that I had accidentally caught fire. So we could put that carpet in here and it would just be like the same, but a little bit more proper. A few more doodads. We get all that cleaned out, and then we got to weld in our little patch here, top and bottom, and then we can start fitting our panels after we do a little bit of. So we got a little bit of stripping ahead of us, you know. That's what you guys like. Okay, carpet's out. Honestly, this thing is not that bad. I mean, it has a little bit of floor repair there and there, which is fine, and a little bit right in the front. The tunnel has had a patch put on. I don't know if it had a floor shift or what at some point. I mean, it does have a clutch pedal. Maybe someone had it. It was obviously a hot rod at some point back in the day, so maybe it was a stick shift car. I mean, anything is possible. bunch of pretty heavy duty wire under the carpet. That's like 30 bucks. That's pretty sweet. The back is in good shape. I can't complain there. We've got the seats out, carpet out. I popped the trunk. I haven't even looked in the trunk yet. I got the exposure all mangled here. That's the other seat, but man, usually they rot out right around here. This thing's fine. A little soft there maybe, but no gaping holes. I think overall, this is a very, I mean, if you were looking for a Tri-5, I'd recommend this one. It's a pretty solid car. The yellow and the fact it's a 56 is really tough for me. If it was a 55, I'd be like over the moon, but hey, what are you gonna do? So yeah, guess we'll weld up these little pieces here and we'll get the fit in the door. We'll come back at that point. Otherwise, I mean, everything is pretty good. These patches, this is the style of patch I put on my 55 Chevy when I did it. I know I've done a lot of full floor pans, and that is a big job, and that is a lot of money. There's no bones about it. I think a floor pan is like $1,000 or something like that. So you start spending like a third of the price of the car on just the floor pan alone. You really start getting in there. Now the idea is, I mean, of this 4-door to 2-door conversion, you know, we're in everything so far for like 500 bucks. It's very cheap, and you have the look of it and all that. When you start spending 2-door money on a 4-door or 4-door 2-door conversion, it loses some of its glitz and glam. Now I realize I'm doing it for YouTube and all that sort of stuff, so I'm in a unique situation, and I keep these cars and stuff like that, so whatever, is kind of offset by that. But if you're doing this, and I mean, you're not falling through the floor on this, it's solid. At the end of the day, you're gonna put carpet on this side, undercoat the other side. You're never ever gonna see it. It's just fine. People don't get too bent out of shape about it. So there you are. Yeah, I'll get these welded up real quick, and we'll come back to start doing the fun stuff: mounting doors and the rear quarter section. Well, now we get to struggle. The doors on is always kind of a hassle. Oh, this one's a little stiff. Come on, girl. There you go. Oh, I don't think she's been rolled up and down much. There we go. Okay. We'll fix that on the car. That's mostly just for extra handles. This one's got a heck of a whammo in it, but we'll test patina. So, what should I do here? Struggle it on and then put the floor jack under it, you think? It was really smart is putting this thing on frickin' jack stands. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay. Oh, probably should have put a couple of pumps in this. No big deal. Whew, gonna earn that hungry man dinner tonight. Okay, with the 77 pumps here. This is some good watching. Okay. You got her? And wasn't even that bad. So now he's got to line up. There's still 3 holes in the door and in the hinge, I should say, and then just kind of captured nuts in the door. So we'll zing those in, then open and close it 50 times until it closes right. It's all about the front gap. It's different. And the top gap. Everything else is just gonna be what's gonna be. This door doesn't fit quite as nice as the other one. I mean, we got a decent gap. It's a little gappy up there, but whatever. The real issue is it's real tight in the front, like real tight. But we have a pretty decent gap there. The door is as far back as it'll go, and ultimately, I mean, it's maybe I'll lift the front of the door just a little bit, but it's about where it's going to be. And I think part of it could be the fact that she's got this big whammo in it, so that might not be the best. So maybe we can try and just pop it out. I'm not doing a whole lot to this. We're just going to live with whatever it is. But before we get completely 100% on it, we might as well just a little bit at the front would be nice. I might just mess with it just a little bit more, see if I can get a little happier. Well, maybe just a little bit better. It does fit. The whole door still kind of has to go up, but I just don't see that happening with what we got going on. So we're gonna leave it. I think we can get this little whammo out of here. This old steel is usually pretty stiff, but maybe we'll get lucky and I can just kind of pop it out. Oh yeah. Did we do anything? Oh, it's right down there at the bottom. Oh, she's got some pressure on her, that's for sure. Maybe I'll put the window up. It's right in an awkward spot. Might be able to porta power that. Or whack it with a hammer. None of these are the hammer I want. No, this is really a super great plan. I want to be able to pry on it, but I may need a porta power, which I get back to Myrna, not yet. Okay, we'll give it one more shot here, and if not, I mean, what we can do is just put a block of wood against the other post and kind of crank it in there, but I'd like just to pop it out. Not working. Go. I just mangled the door latch, but how can we get that out? You know, we're gonna leave it there. How's it look? Oh, much better. Ish. Unfortunately now, the metal's really been stretched, so I think that's going to be an oil can situation. I doubt we're going to be able to get that to last. Oh. Yeah. But all you gotta do is just jam your hand in there, and it's fixed. Okay, so with the door fixed, next thing we're gonna do, we'll tighten all the hardware there. It's a little bit of a gap, but whatever. I'm gonna clean up all in here, along here. We have to get rid of this, what's left of this post a little bit, so everything kind of fits in there nicely. Across the bottom, just everywhere we're gonna be welding to. Get that all cleaned up now, so we gotta screw with it later. And then once we get that, we have our piece over there. We'll kind of just start test fitting it in there, trimming and whatever we have to do until it kind of fits. But essentially what I do is I will latch that door post right to this door, and then we'll set our gap with the welder. Okay, so we got everything kind of ground down, ready to go in there. Like I said, I'm literally gonna latch this all together. Hopefully this latch is not all froze up. Are we good? I think we're okay, it's moving. And then I'm gonna kind of close the door, and then we can play with this, push that in and out of the latch mechanism until we have a nice gap that we're happy with. Obviously the panel is gonna be kicking out because it's not gonna fit over here. It gives us a pretty good idea of what we need. Then we'll slowly but surely start trimming it to fit, which we should be okay. You know, people always ask, aren't you worried about the structure and this and that? No. The way I see it, this is a 4-door car that had a post welded top to bottom and doors were just hanging on it. This is going to be a post top to bottom which is welded the whole way around. The other one was just spot welded in. They're welding in a whole back structure that's never going to open and close. I know I'm not the best welder, but I still think it'll be stronger than a door with a latch. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this in there. Oh, I gotta do a little grinding on the bottom actually. No, maybe not. Should be okay. Yeah, we should be okay. And I'll explain as we go. How about that? All right. See if we can get this thing in here. Ooh, she's windy. So. Oh my god, there we go. There we go, so that latched. Now as you can see, so it's held on there. Now you can play with your door gap any which way you want. So they're close-ish. So that'll work out okay. Down there's gonna be okay. So we can actually probably do this slice here and this little section because these are interrupting us. So maybe we'll just do that real quick, and then this can just overlay. Let's save us a bunch of screwing around. I'm just gonna we'll put the zip cut on. So we have an okay door gap. Again, we can adjust any which way we want. Then this here, same deal. We can kind of adjust this. We have a bit of a gap. Where I screwed up was right here. The door curves back right away, and I cut it square. So we'll have to weld in there and smooth with grinder. But that gives you, an idea of what we're working with. And then obviously we'll do a patch panel at the bottom. But yeah, pretty simple stuff. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of hold this about where I want, put my weight into it, we'll unlatch the door, and then we can just weld that in. See, if we don't, the it'll fall right out. So there you are. Let's get after it. Okay, let's get this thing dialed. So let's go ahead, ground the piece we're gonna weld. Put this back together ish. We're latchy. Okay, we're happy with that, are we? Just a little bit more at the back. Okay. It's not too bad. I think I could probably sneak in behind the door real quick here, actually. Just do this. Okay, that kind of held that. Now, kind of pull up just a little. Ooh, it's hot. Come on. A little gap there. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna say that's good enough for who she's for. Let's tack this into place real quick as well. That ain't going nowhere. This one unfortunately had a bit of a rusty bit, so we're gonna have to smack her down, but I think we're okay. Is this gonna fit? What's going on? Come on, little welder. Give this a quick tacola. Oh, we burned a hole in that. What the? We got the welder set to 11. Okay. So I think that's good. Opens and closes. That gap's annoying me for sure, but whatever. Not a whole lot else that can be done. It does kind of match what we got here. So, yeah. I'm going to get all that buzzed in a little more permanent than just a couple of tacks. We'll see where we end up. Okay, so we're at ground level, but we've got everything kind of welded in, other than obviously she's flappy. So we're gonna basically kind of blindly cut up around here, you know, kind of get it close, and then we'll have to start pushing it in as we trim, so it'll be a nice flush butt weld. We'll probably, I'd like to get rid of as much filler as I can. I think the other one I went to about here and went across. A lot of that will actually depend on what that back door is like, if it's all mangled up for a patch panel, but we should probably match the other one. I'll then, like I said, I'll filler. This is double walled junk someone welded on. We'll go right to the edge and then straight down. This is a big dent in it. Obviously something hit here and here. So if we can get up actually around here, I guess right on the other one, pretty close to anyways, it's not as much of a dent. Obviously it's still garbage, but it's kind of the way it is. So it's skinned, and the door opens and closes nicely. Look at that. Like a 56 Chevy should. A little bit of a run-up gap at the bottom, such is life. And this is the same as the other side. We will have to fix our little rocker, which is a bit of a, well, this is full of foam. Maybe it just needs body filler on it, right? So let's set the camera up and we'll start schwelding. Well, she's on there. Now, I didn't do any grinding or whatever. I was kind of blindly cut, and I was, kept taking a little bit away until we got close. I had one little gappy spot right there. It kind of messed up, and up there's a little meh, but whatever. It'll grind fine. There you are. She's a 2-door. Now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna chop up that door so it'll get set up, and we'll cut it. There's like a trim line. We'll cut right below the trim line, and see what we end up with. Again, I'm just gonna skin it. So we're just gonna take the outside of the door, and hopefully, a bit of a wow to it as well. Hopefully we can cut all of this section out, because it's all filler, and down here it's all double grossness and everything. Make a little patch panel like we did on the other side, buzz that in real quick, and call her a day, because this has been a lot of screwing around. It's been, well, I got it done 2 days, I guess. Skinned in 2 days. The next video will do the inside. So you could do this in, I want to say a weekend, but 3 or 4 days for sure if you're giving her. Well, we're back down the ground. Looks pretty cool, huh? So we got this piece all welded in. So again, that's just the skin piece of the door. Now we have a pretty good shape going to it, honestly. This one, when I do weld it in, which will be in the next video or two, I'm sure, really gonna take my time to not put a lot of heat in it. It's gonna be very tempting and very boring. But if you put a bunch of heat in it, especially right down here, it's gonna do all sorts of goofy things. So you gotta really screw around. Up in here, typically what I'll do is I'll stitch it, and then we'll just rub some fiberglass or something in there. But I might just weld this one solid. We'll see how it goes. But door opens and closes nice. Obviously nothing is, done here. It's got lots of little bits of screwing around to be kind of taken care of and ground down and all that sort of stuff. But door opens and closes both sides. Car looks a heck of a lot cooler as far as I'm concerned. Now, a lot of it depends on the look you want to go with. Part of me wants to leave it just like this so people will clearly see what it was. I think that's kind of funny, again, not trying to hide what it was. or is, I should say, but there you are. Now, next video, we obviously have to fill that big void because there's no outer or inner structure, I should say. But we do have those pieces, which we will be reusing. I'm not going to put the regulators in, so I'll take the regulators out for myself, keep those as spares, and we'll have to cut basically 6 inches out of the front of this anyways, so it all joins up. But if we join it front, around the back, across the bottom, that'll be plenty sturdy. So I guess we're gonna sew this side. That was the last video. Come on, Dan, what are you doing here? There you are. You end up with a pile of garbage, a bunch of spare doors. We'll pick all these apart. I think what I would like to do is maybe reuse some of these door panels. They're kind of funky. I mean, they're definitely beat, and they're going to be too short, but maybe just do that in a piece of balsa wood or something like that on the back. Take the window cranks, the mirror, you know, door locks, all those sort of things. You absolutely can make garnish moldings. Again, the set I got came with everything needed, but if you had 2 sets of 4 doors, you cut it, you weld them back together. The back one, you can you know, use that back and then the little back piece, which would have been a little kind of quarter window. Back here, there would have been a little piece which I had thrown up. You can join that all together, do whatever you want to do, make the back windows work if you want, but for what we're doing, having a fun car to drive around, this is all we need. It's late already, the sun has gone down, but we're ending this video. We're going to start the next video right away, because I'd like to get the inner structure welded in, so I can put the seats back in and the carpet in, and like really start putting this thing back together. That's the plan. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you continue to enjoy this grade B content. What do you think of this? I think something's going to happen on the next video. Anyways, thank you so much for watching and supporting this ridiculousness as per usual. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It makes a world difference for myself, as well as liking the video. And I don't know what to say. Leave a comment if you feel like it. Let me know how you really feel. I have thick skin. See you on the next one.